President Tinubu, Danish investor, discuss expanding Nigeria-Sweden partnerships.
And Senate schedules Wednesday screening for new service chiefs.
Information Minister reaffirms Nigeria's religious tolerance during CNN interview.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, our focus is on staying safe online.
So Claire, how safe are you online? You have all your data online, all your pictures, everything.
That's a millionaire question.
Yeah.
Well, I do have some discipline, though. I have some time, when I really put off everything and when I shut down. But, fundamentally, almost all our lives, from morning to night.
It's out there.
Online.
All right. So that's our discussion today. It's amazing how much of our daily lives now happen online. Chatting with friends, paying bills, streaming shows, even signing official documents. The digital world has truly become our second home.
Absolutely. But even as we speak here on screen, we do go online. We scroll, we shop, we share. There's a dark side quietly growing regardless. Cybercrime. It's no longer just what you see in spy movies, you remember. It's happening in real time, right in our inboxes and, of course, our DMs.
Absolutely, Claire. From identity theft and fake websites to online scams and massive data breaches, the internet has become both a bustling marketplace and a dangerous minefield.
Don't get us wrong. There's nothing wrong with, of course, technology. But what's scary is how clever criminals, cyber criminals, have become. Now, a message from a friend, a tempting link, a free app, and before you know it, your data is gone. Your bank account is hit, or even your device is compromised. I mean, this happened so many times.
It just happened to me about 2 days
Oh
ago.
my God.
Someone just sent me a text and said, urgent, send me money. And I looked at the text and I saw that the guy hardly even chats me.
The more reason you should.
Then I sent a text, I said, you better go and find a better job. Return the phone to the owner. So the guy stops chatting me. Anyway, and the truth is, they don't just go after the rich and famous ordinary people, small businesses, schools. Everyone is a potential target if you leave a digital door unlocked.
That's precisely why this conversation matters. Cybersecurity isn't just for tech experts. It's for everyone. It's for anyone who owns a phone, a smartphone, or a computer. And there's no better time to talk about all of this than this October, of course, which is being celebrated as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Now, it's a global reminder that online safety is everyone's business. And, just before you go, I wanted to say how fortunate you were, that you didn't send that, reply that message, by sending money.
Well, I've been a victim once, so once beaten.
Twice shy, they say.
Exactly, Claire. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, estimates that the country loses around $500 million annually to cybercrime.
Wow. Now, the government, however, is not, sitting, idling away. By serious action is being taken to address all of the issues that we've enumerated. We're talking about the Cybercrime Amendment Act of 2024 that has tougher penalties to dedicated cybercrime units in the EFCC as well as the Nigerian police.
And with the National Computer Emergency Response Team coordinating rapid responses, we are seeing results including arrest, prosecutions, and even deportations of foreign offenders.
Absolutely. The fight is real. It's active, and we will be unpacking all of those developments with our guests shortly as they join us on the program. Let me welcome you warmly, as always, to the program. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurrazak, and I want to thank all our fans, all those who watch Good Morning Nigeria. You meet us each day and you say, look, we'll watch Good Morning Nigeria. Regardless of what they say, this is your breakfast show. Thank you.
And I'm Ademola Adeoye. Also, I join Claire to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria. We are live on the network service of the NTA. Newspaper review will come up shortly. But first, the news. Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Just before we bring in our guest for our conversation on staying safe online, let's take this background report by Joseph Orten.
We cannot do without the use of technology. Everyone should be cautious, should be careful. Like they said, if you don't trust it, don't click it.
A simple tap on an internet link and your information is compromised. This could even lead to your bank account completely wiped off. This is just one among several computer and internet-assisted crimes known as cybercrime, committed daily globally. It comes in various forms such as fraudulent electronic mails, pornography, identity theft, hacking, cyber harassment, spamming, and automated teller machines spoofing. Cybercrime is negatively impacting Nigeria's economy, national security, and social fabric by causing financial losses, damaging the country's reputation, hindering digital growth, and contributing to moral decadence. Nigerian Communications Commission reports that the country loses about $500 million yearly to cybercrime. While some research attributes the increasing rate to economic situations, it's obvious a lot goes on just for mischief. Authorities in the country have taken serious steps to curb the menace, including the enactment of the Cybercrime Amendment Act of 2024. As law enforcement agencies like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Nigeria Police Force having dedicated divisions to investigate these crimes, while the National Computer Emergency Response Team coordinates responses. The impact of the investigations and sensitizations have been massive, with several arrests and prosecutions of criminals, including foreigners. In August, Nigeria deported dozens of foreigners, including 50 Chinese. This brings the total repatriated convicted foreign nationals to 102 in recent times. For sure, Nigeria's digital economy has continued to grow. So does the complexity of its cybersecurity landscape, indicating that there is a growing need to adopt proactive cybersecurity defenses. On Good Morning Nigeria today, guests will shed more light on some of the defenses to help citizens and organizations stay safe online.
All right, that was Joseph Oseng giving us a background information on the topic for our conversation this morning. Don't forget, you can also join in our conversation as we go on with the program. We will display the number for you to send your messages to us on the screen, and we will take them. But right now, let me quickly introduce our guests who are right here in the studio. We have been joined by, of course, Abdul Hakim Ajijola, who's Chairman, African Union Cybersecurity Expert Group. He's also Chairman, Institute of Information Protection and Privacy Africa, and also chairing the Consultancy Support Services Limited. And he's right here with us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah. And also with us, we have Rotimi Williams Yomo, He's a cyber security analyst, and we're very glad to have you join us for the conversation.
Also joining us via Zoom from Lagos is Dr. Ashogbo Oluwayomi Godwin. Is the President, CEO, Global Tech Worldwide and Cybersecurity Expert. Dr. Godwin, it's good to have you join us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, let me start with Ajijola, because I mean, you've been with us on this show. I can't remember how long now, and I've always known that you are, probably spend most of your time, in the cyberspace. So
too much time.
but do you have concerns, trust issues using some of those devices?
Yes, I would argue that too many of us consider the internet like a room, but it's not a room, it's a big open space. And I think just to follow up on something the DPP said earlier, every click leaves a footprint. That said, particularly social media, a lot of young Nigerians in particular, they're using social media to push their business. They're using social media for advocacy. They're using social media to make political improvements, let me say. But at the same time, we need to understand that social media is like fire. Fire can cook your food. It can also burn your house. It can also burn your country. And so to that extent, I think that we need to encourage not just our youth, but all of us, not only to utilize social media, that is to use it well, but to make sure that those platforms don't use us.
But what about you? I just want to know your experience, because with your expertise in this area, I'm just wondering if you also have that concern. Do you also have that trust issues, using them?
I have significant concerns, and very specifically, I do not use WhatsApp at all.
Why?
It's not safe.
Really?
How?
Well, WhatsApp alone collects 18 pieces of operational data for every activity you do, whether it's a message, whether it's a text, whether it's a video. And it's called metadata, that's the technical jargon. But these operational data can tell a lot about you. So for example, you just got a message that's, I don't know, from a gynecologist. The next thing you are WhatsApping maybe an abortion center. I don't need to know what is the precise content of the message, but from the activities and the information surrounding it, I can gain a lot about you. I specifically do not use Facebook on my phone. Right now, the Facebook is scanning not just what you post, but is scanning what's on your phone. So there are a lot of intrusive things going on with some of these platforms. But more importantly, we have to appreciate that under the 2018 U.S. Cloud Act, the U.S. government arrogated itself the power to basically obtain any information on any U.S.-owned platform. If you happen to be a U.S. citizen, then the U.S. Constitution technically applies, due process. If, like me and many of our viewers, we are not U.S. citizens, then those constitutional provisions and checks and balances do not apply. So if you are using Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, Amazon Web Service, AWS, a lot of our services are on that. If you are using Facebook, WhatsApp, you name it, it's a US-owned platform, they have access to your data.
So what do you use? What about Telegram, Instagram?
You don't
Oh
use
my God!
WhatsApp. You don't use Facebook. You don't use Instagram.
Yes. What do you
What do you use?
For example, instead of Twitter or X, I personally use Blue Sky. Instead of Microsoft
which
Word,
one is Blue Sky again?
They are relatively more secure. Nothing is perfectly secure. Instead of WhatsApp, I use Signal, but I also use something called Session. And Session is a little more complicated, much more secure, but Signal, by and large, is much more secure than WhatsApp in terms of the Signal app. I'm not trying to market any of
How
these
come we
things.
don't know all this?
Maybe you are focused on your journalism for specialities.
No,
Some
not
of us
me.
focus on
Not
other.
me. A lot. We will get. We will
Okay,
get.
okay. Well,
Yes,
let's
we will
bring in
get the
other
messages.
guests.
What's your experience? What are your concerns?
Tell us, how vulnerable are we?
Okay, thank you very much. He mentioned certain things, and I think we share the same belief and the same opinion. For instance, you hardly see me on Facebook. I have an account there, but you hardly see me there.
On Facebook?
Yes. On X, most times I just go there maybe to...
Sorry. How is it that you have an account,
And
but
you
we
don't?
don't hardly see you? Just
Okay.
explain that.
Some of this account, I created them when I was way younger, and sometimes around 2006, 2007, thereabout, when I joined Facebook. But over time, as I get to learn more in the cybersecurity space, I started seeing some of the downsides, just like he mentioned, of these social media platforms. The number of information they collect. We are the bucket, because it is the data they collect from us that they sell. Because let's get to think of it. You are using this platform and the claim is free. How are they making their money? So many ways they make their money. One of the ways they make their money is through you and I, the information we share. Now, one of the things they try to do, the way the social media algorithm works, is that they try as much as they can to keep you there. So one of the thing is like this: if you are on X and you spend a second, let's say looking at a football picture, and you spend another 10 seconds looking at a picture of a lady that is naked. At the end of the day, you get to see more of naked ladies.
Absolutely.
Just even without, you discover that even people you don't follow, platforms you don't follow, you get to see their posts.
Yeah.
You now get to see more of those kind of pictures. So they try to understand what you like, just so they can keep you more on these platforms.
Yes.
And because they want to keep you more on the platform, you started thinking of it this way: we are actually the market. They are trying to sell these things to us just so we can spend more time. And that is the reason why you see that you want to spend 10 minutes on X, you end up spending 1 hour on X. Because things that interest you keep popping up as you scroll through it. The question is, how secure are this platform? There's a popular saying in the cybersecurity space that if it's 0 and 1, then it is vulnerable. Provided that thing is coded, right? 0 and 1, it makes it vulnerable. We know that there is no absolute security anywhere. But again, one of the ways we can be secure using this platform is to be mindful of how we use this platform and how long we stay on these platforms.
Wow.
Okay, I think yes. I think our guest, yes,
Ashogbo.
Dr. Ashogbo. Dr. Ashogbo, what are your own? I mean, I'm getting frightened because by the time you go off WhatsApp, you go off Facebook, you go off all of these X and Twitter platforms, the world no longer becomes a global village. Now you become blind to yourself. So I'm just wondering, what's your own perspective?
Most of our activities now they're on WhatsApp, on
Precisely.
I mean, our meetings,
when we
everything.
thought that WhatsApp is probably the best, I mean, in terms of safety and all that, and encrypted. Your messages are encrypted, so your messages are, yes, that your messages are encrypted, so they are safe. I mean, Doctor, what's your perspective?
Yes, I think the experts in the House have done justice to a large extent. But my own angle to the stay safe online will be looking at the email section, the email communications. As you all agree with me that the cyberspace is subdivided into 3 layers. Layer 1 is the surface web. The layer 2 is the deep web, while the layer 3 is the dark web. But a lot of people operate at the surface layer, and the bad actors, the cyber actors, operate at these 3 layers. And their main objective is to see how the well-meaning Nigerians can be a victim of their operations. The email, as I've said, is the central post office of all our communications. Even if you are using WhatsApp, without your email, your registration with them will not be completed. If you are using Signal, your communication will not be completed. Any of these social media platforms, you must enter your email. So if your email address or email box is not well secured, then you would be prone to attack. So I will be looking at how can you secure your email, being your central post office. If you permit me to let you know that if a message is sent by someone, the message goes to the server of that particular company before the server of that particular company send it to the server of the recipient. So if sender A send how are you to send to receiver B, then the server of sender A received it first before moving the information to the server of the recipient. Between this section, attack can come in by the cyber actors. And how do you ensure that this very mail is secured? Because if your mail is hacked, everything about you will be hacked, irrespective of any social media platform you are using. So we advise that our email should be well, secured, and that is the area and the angle I will be dwelling on this morning. So let me permit others to speak. Thank you.
No, Dr. Ashokbon, let's stay with you. Can you tell us how can we secure our email? I mean, before we come back to the studio, just give us a brief.
For instance, when a mail is sent, the mail is sent through a protocol. Let me paint a scenario of those days night post. I want to send a letter to my mother at the village. I will take it to the night post office, to the post office. And they go into the box, look at the destination address, and send it to my mother. This could take 3 days. It could take 1 week. It depends on the distance from where I drop the message. Unlike today, we now have, email, electronic mail. At your beck and call, you can send this mail, and this mail is sent through a protocol called SMTP, and it uses a port number 25. Why? The server at the other end is received by what we call POP3, Post Office Protocol version 3, and that one make use of, port 110. Now, attacker can come in between the sender and the receiver. When they come in from the sender's angle, we call it SMTP attack. When they come in from the, receiver's angle, we call it POP3 attack. Now, the question is, how do we now secure our email? Number one, there are 2 types of mail. One, private mail and public mail. The likes of Yahoo, they are public mail. The likes of Gmail, they are public mail. If you are doing anything, if you are having a very sensitive data, don't store it on any of these mails. Why? Because they are public mail. They are public environment, they can easily be attacked. If Google is attacked today, your mail will be attacked. If Yahoo is attacked today, your mail will be attacked. And that is why we advise that don't store sensitive information or send sensitive information through this public mail. Now, the other hand is the private mail. The private mail, this is owned by companies. For example, I can say info@globaltexworld.net. That is a private mail. I can store my information there. I can secure my information. I can do a whole lot of things with that information. Now, if you don't have a private company to host your private website or email, then what do you do for those who owns the public mail? Number one, make sure you enable two-factor authentication, 2FA. Make sure you enable two-factor authentication. This is very, very key. Number two, make sure before you open any attachment, ensure the attachment is verified. How do you verify the attachment? If you are there, you can pick your biro to write. We have a software called Virus Total. We call it Virus Total. VirusTotal.com. You go to that website, you copy the link of that attachment, paste it on Virus Total to verify what the attachment is all about. Take, for example, you have not applied for a job in a company and they are sending LPO to you that your LPO has been approved to your email. Do you apply for a contract? So what warranted you opening an LPO or an invoice on your mail? So if you are greedy, you fall a victim. Because I want to tell us that I'm an ethical hacker. When we develop a payload called virus or malicious software, the main headache of every hacker is how will this payload get to the victim? How will it get to the victim? That has been the headache of all hackers all over the world. So one of the ways they try to get it to the victim is through their email box by attaching it and send it to them. So don't open an attachment without verifying the attachment. Even if the mail is sent to you by a trusted person, by your MD, by anybody, because we have what we call man-in-the-middle attack. You make sure you verify it. And also verify and you discovered malicious options or link among the reports given to you, don't go further to open such mail. Number three, when you receive a threat mail that your email is about to be shut down, your email is affected, your email has a virus attack, click on this to rectify it. Don't click in. These are tricks of hackers. These are tricks of the cyber predators, because they knew very well that once you see such a threat information, you are going to click, and as you click that link, it moves you to their own fake site where they have, more tools to deal with you, to extract your information. I still have more, but let me allow us for now. Thank you.
Before we come back, please, before we come back to the studio, I know Adejola and Rotimi will want to say a lot more. I'm just wondering, the perception, I may be wrong, is that mails like Yahoo and Gmail you've talked about, I mean, very common, commonly used by everyone. The perception is that these are very high-end, secured mail that have, the latest technology to prevent hacking. Although, yes, we've heard one or, twice when such attacks, were recorded. But, I mean, is this a wrong perception? How is it that the private mail system is more secure than this too?
Yeah, the private mail is more secured because there are a lot of protective measures the organizations would have put in place. Number two, the private mail is also secure because it is not the blue eyes of the cyber actors. Because, for instance, in private mail, maybe the highest numbers of mail you have there is 10, maximum 500. So they look at what would they derive from attacking such a mail or company. Unlike Gmail, for instance, that have over 1 billion users. it becomes the more the merrier. Like, for example, we have a tool called the Harvester. You can use Harvester as a tool to harvest the email of a company and see all the email. You get their username and password, and you log in from their back end. If they do that for 1 billion users, there is no how they will not find about 1 million users having one credit card information or the other. So I can say that the eyes of the hackers does not really go to the private organization, one, unlike the public, email. Number two, the private organization has a lot of tools to safeguard their own internet, to safeguard their own back end. Unlike public, they do as well, but the hackers over time has gained access into the public arena more than the private. And the private also is not always available, unlike the public that is the main target of the, of the cyber actors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashogbo. What the picture you have painted this morning is a bit scary, and it calls for a lot of concern, because if you say the Yahoo is not so safe and Gmail too, it's I don't know what we're going to run to now. Ajijola, I mean, you have listened to him, and what are the most common online scams, currently targeting, people, especially Nigerians? And do you agree with all the things that Dr. Ashogbo has reeled out?
Well, I think the most important thing that I think was left out of his intervention was all of these things start with us. It's about how, first and foremost, you must have a good password. If you're going to use your dog or your cat's name or your birthday, I mean, these are relatively easy things to guess. The second thing, again, when you point finger, three are pointing back at, it's back to us. We need to practice good cyber hygiene. What does this mean? You update regularly, you use your antivirus. What I mean is that, and again, password, look at where you live. You can build the wall, as high as you wish. Mm-hmm. But if your environment, that is, if your society, if your country is violent, that wall is not really going to help you. Mm. So you also have to take care of the broader issues. So there are societal functions. But at the same time, yes, it's good to live in an estate. It's good to have a wall around the estate. It's good to have a gate with security guards. It's good to have a wall maybe around your house. So these are things, like I said, these are the basic cyber hygiene things you can do. So to that extent. Now, in terms of your question, what are people targeting? At the end of the day, 90% of the time, it comes down to money. Where is the money? Finance sector. Whether you call it banks, insurance, fintechs. And of course, fintechs are particularly vulnerable because by and large, they are online. Okay. You see? But don't forget, banks have always been vulnerable to robbery. Mm-hmm. So it's not an IT issue per se. The other kind of bad actors you have, you also have basically what we would call nation-state actors. So, for example, if you are from a government agency or a military agency or even a journalist, you may be perceived as having information that will be politically useful. So that could also mark you out as a target. Don't forget also that sometimes the bad actors are not actually bad people in the sense that they actually may be government people. So you also need to have those kind of checks and balances. And at the end of the day, I'd like to just quickly quote a young man, Opeyemi Onifade. He said something, a bush is simply an ungoverned garden, while a garden is a governed bush. Okay. And I think this is part of it, that bush or garden, it's governance. And so this comes back to, our internet, our social media platforms. What are our governance regimes? Now, governance does not necessarily mean, tightening things so that there's no innovation. You have to have innovation. But governance at least means that there are some do's, there are some don'ts, there are some expectations. For example, there are responsibilities of the individual, but also of the providers. Whether it is a public or private email, for example, if you are Shell or Nigerian military, I mean, privately, your email would be of interest to a lot of bad actors. So to that extent, for me, you need to start with the basics. You talk about, my takeaway for the audience is passwords. Also, I think we should look at the broader issue of data. And again, for me, many people say data is the new oil. I would modify that a bit and say data is the new soil, as in dirt. And whoever controls it controls the harvest. And so what you are seeing is why some of these platforms are becoming problematic is because there's a big push globally for people to develop AI-driven solutions. And big tech, in order to do AI well, needs a lot of data. Where does it get the data from? It gets it from you and I. And that is why, like Rotimi said, the algorithms, for example, on X, simply are monitoring and trying to accommodate to feed you what it thinks you need. But at the same time, quote unquote, in exchange, it's taking your data. And I think just to build on what Rotimi also had said earlier, if a product is free, please appreciate you are not the customer. You are the product being sold. It is your eyeballs for the advertisements that the marketers are selling.
Wow.
Wow. I honestly, I'm just lost, and I totally agree with you, because I was going to ask you, the gap. I mean, because if you look at it, it's all about either, again, governance, you doing the right thing.
Yes.
It's not just that, okay, everything, the cyberspace is dangerous. It's not safe. It's all about what you do, and that exactly, or do not do. And then we also talk about the governance. The governance. What are the rules? What steps are those who are overseeing the cyberspace? What else are they taking? What should the public know about how to use online materials? But let me even ask you before we even go further. Sometimes when you stop by, make stopovers at the airport or cafe or hotels, you're provided with free Wi-Fi and all that. Is that also, could that also be a trap for data collection?
Okay, it is a trap. I have always run campaigns on the use of public Wi-Fis, right? There is absolutely nothing you're doing on a public Wi-Fi, or what we call free Wi-Fi, that someone with tools sophisticated enough, with the skill set, won't be, someone at the back end with the tool set and the skills won't be able to see all of the information, all of the transactions you're carrying out. So one of the things in those campaigns we run for use of public Wi-Fi is that mind what you do while using public Wi-Fi. For instance, if you must use public Wi-Fi, there is absolutely no reason why you should carry out things like internet banking or mobile transactions
On public Wi-Fi.
on public Wi-Fis. Though there is this exception that says if you must use it with VPN. But again, how many of our users use VPNs? Sometimes they just want to quickly connect to, let's say, their office, and they just look for a Wi-Fi close by and they connect. To them, it is fast. And one thing I've come to observe with Nigerians is that when they see the term free or public, they enjoy it so much. That is when they want to update all of their softwares. That's when they want to download all the things they need to download. And the more you spend time on these platforms, before now we used to say that if it is HTTP, it is not secured. Now there are platforms that is HTTPS that are still vulnerable. Remember I said initially that if it is coded in 0 and 1, it is vulnerable. I work as a cybersecurity analyst. We carry out VAPT every day for product and services. Even though these web applications, these platforms are being built and hosted, the SSL certificate that enables the security in these platforms are included. It doesn't change the fact that maybe while coding some of these things, they are not properly coded. Like for instance, what we call input validations. They don't carry out all of these things properly. And when they don't carry it out properly, it means that this website at one point or the other will be vulnerable. It means someone with the right skill set can break this website. It means someone with, like recently we audited a particular website, and the part where users receive OTP to either change their password or to enable multi-factor authentication, it was vulnerable. So it's vulnerable to a brute force attack. It means someone can guess the OTP.
And
There is no limit on it, so you can just keep trying as much as you can for that OTP. And we're using tools that will enable us try as much as we can. So the tool just kept trying, a particular tool kept trying, and it eventually got the OTP of that particular web application. So sometimes we think that provided that this website has HTTPS, it is all secure. But at the same time, we as the end users, we have our roles and responsibility as well to play. For instance, if you are using some of these platforms and you are also connecting to a public Wi-Fi, it means that someone with the right skill set, with the right tools, can eventually, Doctor mentioned recent, while he was talking, that there's what we call man in the middle attack. It is these tools and the skills that makes someone in the middle. What it means is that between the conversation from your computer and the server you're trying to connect to, someone is in between, modifying the request and the response. So while they are modifying it, you think you are getting this response from the server, and you are not knowing that you are getting this request from the person in the middle. So at the same time, with the same skill, with the same tools and the same skill set, those encrypted information you have entered, like your card details, your credit card details. Let's say, for instance, you are making transaction online. You have entered your card details, your CVV, your expiry date, and your card PIN, and you think they are encrypted on this platform. Someone will still take time and decrypt all of these things.
Sorry.
Rotimi, you know what you people are reeling out this morning is worrisome. I mean, I know few people that they have vowed that they will never use this app, or they will go straight to the bank and do their transaction. Don't come and tell me that I must use Apple, that kind of a thing. Because this is one of the reasons why they have decided not to get themselves, be a member of all these, exposed to all these apps, all these, cyber crime. So what's the way out?
No, before you even go to the way out, before you go to the way I did, like there's a lot they need to unpack for us. Yes, you're talking about, you've said so much, but what about the information, your very vital information that you store on your phone, your NIN number,
Yes,
all those things, are they also at risk?
Well, provided you have it in a digital device, they are at risk. But again, these are some of the things we need to do, right? Doctor mentioned that you should update your softwares regularly. When there is a software, it means that the manufacturer or the developers of this product have seen that there is a gap. So they are trying to fix it. So they fix this bug, this security loopholes. They roll it out there as patch or security update. Users, our role now is update your applications, your softwares regularly. At the same time, it is also recommended.
How do you know when to update?
Most times when there is update, there is usually notification for those updates.
Okay.
You can just, for instance, I am an Android user. I use Android devices and Windows devices, Linux devices. Those are some of the ones I use. Now, when using all of these things, whenever there is update from Play Store, there is usually notifications. I've enabled notifications just so they notify me when I need to update my WhatsApp, any of these applications I have on my phone. The same time, Windows software I have, I always enable automatic updates. Not just, but even though it downloads, I don't install automatically. Sometimes you may still need to review based on the environment you are using those updates on.
Okay.
So update your softwares regularly. It is also important that you use antivirus softwares as well. Some of these antivirus softwares will help you in the sense that there are certain websites you want to go to. They will not allow you access those websites. Like in my organization, the kind of antivirus we use is an endpoint protection, an EDR rather, which is endpoint detection and response. And with the help of other technologies we have, when you click certain links that are malicious, it will block it and tell you that this particular URL you are going to is malicious. So use a good antivirus software that will help you prevent all of these phishing and malicious websites. At the same time, enable multi-factor authentication. We have shouted it again and again and again. I remember this month, the month of October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And the team also is staying safe online from the Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria. Now we are trying to stay safe online, but one of the ways we stay safe online is to enable multi-factor authentication. These platforms have enabled multi-factor authentication. They have seen it because security is also evolving just as this technology are evolving.
But even when you do the two-step verification, this thing, you still get, people still get hacked.
He mentioned initially that there is no absolute security anywhere, right? There is what we call, in the concept of, in the cyber security, there's what we call security hardening. So it's not absolute security, you just make it difficult to break into. So certain hackers that are trying to break into, when they discover that they are not finding it easy, they get frustrated and they move on to the next target. So you are not a victim. So by the time you enable multi-factor or two-factor authentication, two-factor is a subset of multi-factor authentication, right? Now, by the time you enable any of this, you have made it a bit difficult. It's another layer of security you have added to the platforms you are using. By the time you have added this to it, it means that you have made it difficult, and there is high probability that you will frustrate the person that is trying to crack or break into your account.
Another thing before we move away is, they say the heart is not so smart. Sometimes the brain too is not so smart. So people, can't remember so many things. So they just use one password, for all of their, transactions.
Especially the elderly, because
I think I would disagree. Not just the elderly.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because by the time you have different passwords for different platforms,
you can't remember.
Begin to remember them?
So you use one.
Just one.
So that is why we call why we use things like password managers. Okay. Even though they are not also 100% secure and safe.
Who are they? AI?
No. They are even
no,
Google
we're still going
has,
to go to AI now.
Even Google has a password manager. There are other password managers that we have there. You can use to generate and store password. Why I say it's not only the elderly. Recently, I was a young person, tried to add issues with a Gmail rather. It's a lady, and after everything, I was able to recover the password. Recovering the password, I was trying to change the password. So when trying to change the password, I just decided to check for some security features that Gmail has. While checking through, I discovered that on 27 accounts that is associated to that Gmail, she is using the same password. 27. Now, and she stored them in that place. The first thing I noticed was that the password was 1 week. 2, there is no two-factor authentication in that Gmail. And that Gmail had her card details attached to it. So that Gmail had her card details attached to it. She's using the same password for all social media platforms. So it means that if at any point anything happened to that Gmail, she has lost either all her social media account, and at the same time, her card details is at risk because she has saved it there. She used it to pay for something on one of the platforms.
So what should
it's not just the elderly. At the same time, we should also advocate it for the younger ones. If the younger ones know it better and they can manage it, they will be the one to transfer this knowledge and this concept to the elderly, because they don't want their father, their elderly ones, to be victim of all of these online fraudsters. So one of the things we recommend is use multiple password for different use different password for different accounts.
Rotimi,
So
I
how
get,
do you keep this
Yeah.
password when you
I'll
have
recommend a password manager.
okay, I get frustrated sometimes when you want to create a new password and they tell you this is weak, you know, this is that, this is that. Just explain it to us quickly before we move on.
Okay, one of the things we do, one of the things I do is to have a password pattern. I don't use a password manager, but I have a password pattern. Though sometimes I get password fatigue, but I have a pattern in my head. And the pattern I have minimum 12 characters I use, because before now we used to see 8 character length is strong, but 8 character length is beginning to get weak. I would recommend 12 characters in this platform. Now, these 12 characters should have minimum 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, alphanumeric, right, and special characters, special characters and numbers. Now, what I do is to have a pattern in my head, nothing related to my name, nothing related to my pet, nothing related to my address, nothing related to my date of birth, nothing related to.
So how do you remember?
So it is a pattern. I cannot say it on air.
Ha! Hey.
Let me build on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, let's say you believe Jesus is Lord. That's 3 words. What's the first?
J.
J. Of the
I.
second,
Lord.
I.
Okay.
L.
L.
So JIL could be your password. You could now say, what's the first character of the first word? J.
J.
What is the second character of the second word?
S.
Yes.
And what is the third character of the third word?
R.
Exactly. So you see, right from that shot, you've created 3 theoretical. So you are the one who remember. That's what I think he calls the pattern.
pattern.
It's called a mnemonic. And the whole idea
It's called
is
what?
a mnemonic.
Mnemonic.
The
Okay.
idea is that, so for
Memory.
example, I may say, I'm proud to be a Nigerian, you know, or I'm proud to be from Ikare, my hometown. That gives me the basic pattern, and I can create, and then of course, you would now add certain numbers and other characters as you see fit. That to me is much easier to remember. But if I could take a step back to something you said earlier, sir.
Okay.
All technology, I mean, fire has its risk, but all technology has its risk. All technology has its vulnerabilities. So your friend or colleague that says, I will not use an app, let him stop using a car. You have accidents with cars. Let him stop flying in an aeroplane. You have accidents with aeroplanes. I mean, even sabotage, you see. So I think that you have to weigh these things in life. And the truth of the matter is that, for example, your correspondent in reporting mentioned the word or the phrase digital economy. I, for one, I don't see a digital economy. I just see an economy. Because who today in our economy can do anything without technology? The banking system effectively is digital.
It's digital, yeah.
Government is becoming digital. So for me, I don't see that distinction of digital, I just see economy. You see? So at the end of the day, these things are just a fact of our life. And we do need to be very careful. We do need to, you can only start with yourself. So for example, do we share too much? When I say share too much, for example, I'm in a glass house, I send too many messages. But at the same time, the question is, do some of us share too much about ourselves? You know, what my wife did today, what my dog did yesterday, what my child... For example, our phones that we carry have become so sophisticated. The cameras are so sophisticated that you are warned. When you are taking pictures, do not put your, the face of your finger up. You know, like we all like to do this.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this. Because from a distance, you can zoom in on the picture. It's of that quality.
Take the finger-
You can actually take the fingerprints.
Let's stop this thing, though. All this,
Exactly.
Stop it, though.
Yes, when we're taking
Yes.
pictures. But my point is that that wasn't a problem 5 years ago.
Yes.
It evolves. And I think the idea is that as people, as a society, we too must evolve. We must, and that's the reason we are happy to be here, because there needs to be an awareness. We don't want to scare everybody with gloom and doom. There are risks. There's risk. Even just being alive is a risk.
Adjutant, hold on.
Okay, ma'am.
Hold on. Let's bring in Dr. Godwin just before we take our break. But Dr. Godwin, quickly, please. I hear, Adjutant and Rotibi, they've mentioned it, and
we have not even talked about AI.
No,